We'll be reading from her forthcoming collection of poetry, Truth Be Bold, Serenading Life and Death in the Age of AIDS. It's her testimony as an HIV-positive woman working in AIDS services, as well as an intimate and embodied portrait of the routine struggles of HIV-positive people, the limitations of care, and the daily experience with mourning and remembrance. Julene is a psychotherapist who moved to Seattle from New York in 1989 and worked in AIDS services for over 21 years. Her two prior books are No Father Can Save Her and Case Walking, an AIDS case manager wails her blues. And tonight, she'll give a special preview of Truth Be Bold. Please welcome Julene Tripp Weaver.
See the crowd except the first row. So my book is in 4 sections, and I'm going to read a poem from each section and maybe 2 if I have, depending on how much time I have at the end. So the first section is Who Would You Tell? Sexual Revolution. In the mirror is the body she remembers, sexy as S and I and N. It is the fucking she remembers, full-fledged, hot and bothered. Screaming orgasms, S and I and N, that will never come again. In the mirror, the body is constrained now, scared. There is no more free love, no more S and I and N, free as the 60s. Love, revolution, and this is S and A and D. That reflects back in her mirror. This body of love that remembers twisting hips, Amazon breasts, easy as S and I and N into stray palms. The price paid twofold in this new world. After the free reign, fledged orgasms we remember, changed world, condoms, AIDS, all a sign of the future that came. The second section of the book is How Have You Helped? And in this poem, it's a poem from my case management work. Nightmare Neutrality. A Jimmy Dean look-alike, rough white trash. He knocks her around and she keeps going back. He must fuck her in the ass night after night. He tells me she is a real woman. It's rare I see her alone. When I do, I make the most of it. Try to get beneath the surface. Ask the difficult questions about safer sex that they do not choose to have. They do not care about the risk. Don't talk about who infected who. Only claim they do not use IV drugs. I dream Jimmy Dean fucks me in the ass. The night after I talk with her on the phone, the night after he calls looking for her, I have to remain neutral. No, I have not seen her today. It's not a lie. I am in the middle. He intimidates. He is a big brute who feels bad and apologizes, smiles down into his chest, hangs his head in shame, says he didn't mean to say anything bad. Didn't mean anything, really. Doesn't know what got into him. But he got into me. And I never did talk about my dream in consult or even in supervision. How close I let him violate me. How scared I really was. Trying to stay neutral. Being very careful what I write in my notes. The third section of the book is Who Have You Lost? And I'm going to read Stonewall. And as an interesting piece of history I learned is that actually it was mourning Judy Garland that the night of the Stonewall raid happened. So, Stonewall. I still mourn Judy Garland with the queers at Stonewall. I was one of the flamboyant ones who'd had enough. Salt, sweat, mascara running my face, getting on with my grief for my girl. Cop raid, ire fire, this is my right, my life. You bet, I snapped. Don't push us when we mourn. Judy Garland died on June 22nd, 1969. The next section is, how do you survive? The fourth section. Old-timers, the women. Us old-timers dwindle down to 3 who show up, loaded with goodies. I made the salad, picked up bread and cheese. The girls bring crackers, more cheese, and sumai. They do not forget dessert, key lime pie, a berry sponge cake concoction. We eat till we can eat no more. We catch up on each other's lives, new work, recent losses, our latest vacations, the state of our mothers who are slowly leaving us. Right after trips home to visit, they decide to die. And then we experience the reemergence of our periods, as if our mothers are reminding us we are women even with AIDS. And there is so much to speculate about, how the meds impact our menopause. All this talk tires us, and it is time to go. Lucky one can still drive the other home. There is a memorial next Sunday. At 3 p.m., there will be a planting of bamboo. Ashes will be buried underneath. Our lives are full of ashes. Some of us blend them in pavers for our patios. Others have them in jars on windowsills, in urns above their fireplace. Our emotions are right on the surface, bubbles ready to pop. Tears and the flow of anger are storms that ride our intestines and spill our guts with necessity. We stand strong in the flux, from easy laughter to weeping, glad to have each other still. And I'll read one more? Or two? Okay, one more. From the Who Would You Tell section, How We Survive. Blatant yet hidden contradiction in our stride. We carry on the work we must do to survive. Passing my friend in the hallway at work, I had a sudden mirror hit that he was positive too. It made sense why he stayed so long and worked so hard at lifelong like I. Each of us maintained a secret, aware of the simple wisdom to exert such control. When I told him my status, a new level of friendship, he made a joke, called what I had Pazdar. Neither of us have children to carry on our legacy. We talked of the relief to let go, allow this life to be the end. No one ever knows the whole of another's existence. He's gone now. Always said only what he chose to say, natural, when words came to the surface. We understand self-preservation, understood our duty to survive. Thank you.